Welcome home, where we provide information, inspiration, and motivator after motivator after motivator here on America's Next. I have Shelby Mcqueen here with me today. How you doing, Shelby?
Hello, I'm great. It's an honor. Thank you so much.
Without a doubt, without a doubt. You know, I got a confession to make to our audience out there. Supporters of America's Next Motivator TV show network. I don't know what you guys like to snack on, but I love olives. Look how I do it. Just check it out.
Olives?
I eat whole entire things of olives, y'all. This is me. This is what I do. But enough about me. That's just, that's what I've been doing today, eating olives, chilling out. And I'm just excited to get to know you today. Excited to talk about your work, your journey, your legacy. And without further ado, I've said hi to everybody. Let's get right into it. Where were you born and raised?
I am from a small country town outside of Beaumont called Coots, Texas.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
Texas girl, yes.
Okay. Now, what was it like growing up in Coots, Texas? How do you spell that, by the way?
Kountze.
Kountze?
Kountze.
Wow. Okay. I love it.
Yes.
What was it like for you growing up in Coots, Texas?
It was amazing. Now, I left there when I was 4, so, military brat, but growing up, I've always spent the summers with my grandmother. So it toughened me up. Like I went from the city to the country, raised my grandmother, it says it takes a village to raise a child. So I was there with my great aunts, my grandmother, my cousins. So I grew up, boxing, eating dirt. Just
eating
rough.
dirt.
I had an older brother, so it was amazing. And I thank God for my country roots, because that's where all the good cooking and all that stuff comes from. So yes.
That's right. The South of most countries, of a lot of countries, is a region where some of the strongest in the population are. Sometimes when the northern part of a country or even a continent needs assistance, they call on those from the South. And so when I have conversations with people who have roots in the South, I immediately regard them for a particular strength and a particular perspective. Now, what were the talents and the jobs, the careers that were going on in your family when you were young?
Well, I come from a family full of singers, songwriters, and ministers. So everybody in my family is talented. My mom, I learned the other day, she said she was the Beyonce of her time.
Really?
So
wow.
That was kind of funny. Yeah. She left my brother, I have an older brother, and shout out to him. She left him with my grandmother at an early age to pursue her career. And when she got married, she said that kind of put a stop to everything, because my dad was military. So we left and he traveled. Mm-hmm. So yeah, family full of comedians. I mean, I to this day, that's my inspiration, is my family, because they're funny, they're singers, sports athletes, you name it.
Right. Mm-hmm. And see, this is what I'm talking about. Very talented family. You looked around and there was always something to smile about.
Yes, to this day.
To this day.
So they laugh at me because they say I can't hum a tune, but I got the gift of rapping for some reason.
Mm-hmm. Seriously. So you can rap.
I can rap. I can flow. Yes.
Okay. Will we be getting something like that today? Are you going to be able to rap and flow for us today? What's going on?
We'll see.
All right. Well, you got a few minutes to to think about something, to gather a verse or something like that, because when people stop by here on America's Next Motivator and they have talents, we like to provide those to the public.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, you never know who might be watching.
Uh-oh.
Hey, when did you realize that you could rap?
Well, you know, growing up in the country, my brother would make me do, you know, hey, I'm 80s child, you know, so
Mhm,
90s. I mean, sorry, growing up in the
mhm.
90s, listening to hip hop and all that kind of stuff, but doing battles with his friends and just listening to you know when they used to carry the radios on their shoulders and stuff.
Yeah. Mhm.
Just listening to the mixes and the scratches, and the first rap I learned was the real Roxanne. So I was
Right.
like, I want to
Okay.
do that because I have a way with words. And so
Mhm.
that kind of helped me a little bit now in my speaking and the way that I use words. And I'm like, you know what, I'm a rapper. So the way I use words, you know, the
Mhm.
analogies and stuff, the way I put things together. But yeah, so I was kind of like a tomboy. My brother used to make me do rap battles and dance
Right.
and Michael
Right.
Jackson, what you name
Right.
it, whatever.
You know what? That's an '80s and a '90s thing. Even an early 2000s thing. When you've got an older brother or sometimes, like you say, a sister. You know, they come home from school and they're like, you know what? We freestyling tonight.
Yep.
So go get finished with your homework because we freestyling tonight. I grew up in homes like that. You know,
Yeah.
I used to want to be a rapper myself. My name was Spade. That was my rap name was Spade. And yeah, well, matter of fact, what was your rap name when you first started?
I
Yeah,
was just
let's go.
Tasha. Tasha. They call me Tapu. My middle name is Natasha. So
Okay.
they call me Tapu. I didn't really have one. Like it was just Letter's little sister.
Mhm. Right. All right. Now, did any of your family members actually make it big into the industry or any industries?
Oh yes, I have cousins that sing backup for Stevie Wonder.
Mm,
My mother sung a little bit, and then she kind of got out of the music industry. I have a cousin by the name of Dorian that just did something with Little Bootsy. Yeah, I can go on and on. I have cousins that sing that was on Apollo. I actually turned down $1 million deal, and we'll probably talk about that when I got into the music industry because I did backup for a lot of entertainers and things of that nature, and did a demo and I didn't want to be pimped to turn out by the industry. So, you
right.
know, and then coming from my Christian roots, I was like, nah, I can't do this.
Mhm.
I can't do this.
How
So,
how often did you go to church growing up?
oh, and with my grandmother was every Sunday school. And I have a cousin named Dolores West. She taught Sunday school. So it was a family affair. Like I have cousins and uncles that are preachers and ministers. So we had no choice. I got girls in my family. It's a lot of us young girls that sing and they play drums too. So
Mhm.
everybody in town of Coops know the Gibsons and you know, hey, we're known for singing and we turn
Wow.
it up too.
Wow.
And my
You know,
grandmother's 93 and she's still alive and she plays the piano still.
wow. Does she still play the piano?
Oh yeah, she'll eat it up.
Ladies and gentlemen, drop a
Oh
one
yeah.
in the chat for grandma. She's still playing the piano. She's 93 years old and just representing royalty today. You know, representing the continuation of dynasties of families that still exist to this day. We are a very special people if you really look at it. And I'm talking about everybody who gives and contributes to the culture of humanity. We are special people. When you look around and people can sing, people can play instruments, you got harmony coming out of your soul. That really impacts people.
Yes.
Talk
Yes.
to me about the impact that church had on you. What was the actual impact? Why is church such a big deal?
Church is such a big deal because it established my morals and my values, especially with my grandmother, you know, going every Sunday, you know, and I appreciate that because I got closer to God. I got to know who he was and just my grandmother, just who I was, my value and my worth. And it taught me structure, you know, and just seeing my family, you know, go to church and us praising God and just knowing that's where your help comes from and then having those Sunday meals, you know. So
Yeah, so Sunday meals, epic,
yeah, and I
epic.
never you know, you stray but you always find yourself back to him, so that's very
Mhm.
important, you know.
Do you have any favorite scriptures that you go to?
My favorite scripture is Proverbs 31, of course.
Okay.
And now with the company that I have, Royal Kingdom Empire, the one where it says it is he who gives you power to get wealth. That's it. It's God by using your gifts and talents. It is He who gives you power to get wealth. He has invested so much in you, and He wants His return. He put everything in you to succeed, period. We just got to find our purpose and our passion. Whatever we're passionate about, that's our purpose. And I have so
Absolutely.
many gifts. So I said, you know what? Let me just throw it all in one.
Mhm. Do you think that there is a challenge for people out there to get value for their talent? Do people have a problem with demanding money
Yes.
for their talent?
Yes. I mean, I'm probably one that has that problem too. And I was married to a pro athlete at one time, and I helped manage him, and he would pour out his heart, or do things for free for nothing, because he didn't know how to ask, and I was like, you know what, you played ball this many years, you played for the Patriots this many years, you have this many Super Bowl rings, add to your value, add to your worth. So yeah, I had to learn that too, that your experiences, your gifts, your education, you have to put a value on that, because you're
Mhm.
teaching people something that they you know don't know. Or
That's right.
yeah.
So for all of the folks out there who are in their passion tonight, you working on another mixtape. Listen, I believe in you. Shelby is letting us know tonight that through the power of Scripture, we are supposed to get wealth in exchange for our gifts that's been given to us by God. We're supposed to demand the wealth by using our gifts.
Mm-hmm.
And so at some point, we've got to have conversations. We've got to take classes if possible. We've got to learn how to demand value for our gifts that we're offering the community.
Mm-hmm.
I look at families that are full of talent that aren't necessarily full of money. I look at communities that are full of talent but aren't necessarily full of money. And so I think that we do have a chink in our armor as a humanity, where we don't actually demand value for what we're providing to the community. Some people do, and those people are rich, obviously.
Right.
But I think more of us need to learn how to do that. What do you think?
Well, I've met people on, both ends of the spectrum. A lot of people, like in our community, like say for example, my son, my family members, they have a lot of talent but can't put a value on their worth, because they don't have enough confidence in themselves. And through their tests, trials, and tribulations, they don't see themselves as valuable as we do. So a lot of things that have held them down, whether it be it could be like depressions, or things that they've went through. It's kind of like a bar. It's like a stronghold that's holding them back, and they
Yeah.
can't get past that. And then you can beat a person in the head and say, you're this, you're that, you are talented, you da da da. And the most thing that I run into all the time is like, how do I get started? I don't know who I am. If you don't know who you are, you don't know your worth. You can sit on your
Wow.
talent all day long, but if you don't know how to go get it, the steps of going to get it, you're just I don't want to say wasted talent, but you're
Mhm.
just sitting. you know
So I'm getting two things out of this. The first thing is that this concept right here is absolutely huge. This is absolutely huge. Knowing how to say, I do this and it's worth this much.
hmm
I do this and I'm commanding this value for it.
hmm
Like if somebody says, "Oh, Cedric, you speak. I like that. You host a TV show. I like that. How much would it cost for you to come over here and do this?" I've got to be able to respond effectively, not just blurting out a number. Maybe you don't say a number at all.
yeah.
But do you then go into negotiation? It's the art of negotiation. It's the art of leverage. And so this is an area where we need to go and we need to do some research and we need to become more than savvy, because we got the talent. Now we just got to monetize it. I had a conversation with a multimillionaire a few months ago. He said so many people's number one problem is that they don't know how to monetize their gifts, their talent, and the work that they're offering to the community. So let's definitely make sure that we dig into that. All right. Now, the other piece of it is understanding your identity.
hmm
When do we ever look at our lineage to say, "Oh wow, I'm not the first one to start rapping or singing or playing an instrument. I come from a long line of this." When I use these hands to cut hair or to curl hair or to create a style, I am using the same gift that's been used in my family for generations.
Right.
And so that's where the value is. This is not a new thing. I didn't just start doing this. I'm not a novice because my family is a part of me. My family lives through me.
And then it takes that one special one to know know your worth. Like I've been doing hair for 32 years. You know, I've started out small, and then I
Wow.
did women's hair, but then I did hair for lookbooks, magazines, celebrities, but now I'm at the point where I, you know, cut hair for the Cowboy staff.
Mhm.
So a lot of people look at that and they'll ask me, how much do you charge for a haircut? My prices start at $65 and up. Some may say, well, ooh, that's too much. Well, you know what? You're like, you know, hey, I put the work in, you know, and maybe I'm not for you. Maybe I'm not the person that can cut your hair. You have to say that, well, maybe it's not for you. Maybe
Mhm.
where I cut hair is not for you.
Right.
So you can't say, you know what, well, I'll cut your hair for $30 or 20, but for you it's 20. But for you, you know, you had
Right.
to learn, you know,
Right.
you are what you are, you charge what you charge, and you
Mhm.
can't feel uncomfortable. A lot of people do like this, or they feel uncomfortable when they put that worth on them. I've
Mhm.
learned not to do that. It is what it
That's
is.
right. That's right.
Mhm.
Okay. So now back to your childhood. Obviously, we're gonna have a great conversation tonight. Do you have brothers and sisters?
Yes, I have a brother, big brother. Yes, I know
Okay.
he was on here. I think I saw him. He's
Okay. Shout out to your brother.
Leonard.
Uh, what was elementary school like for you?
It was very, like, again, coming from Kuntz, elementary school, it was like family because everybody knew everybody. I and I probably one of the few. I didn't grow up with a crazy childhood. I grew up with a loving childhood. You know, my grandmother, my cousins and stuff. They raised us. I went to school with family. My grandmother was the cook at the, you know, in elementary, so she served the food. I had cousins that was janitors, so, you know,
Mhm.
it was awesome. Elementary school
That's
was
beautiful.
awesome. I played sports at that time. I played baseball at the age
Right.
of 7.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Right. Okay. So now moving into middle school, what was going on in your world? Who did you think that you would be? Obviously, you were going to be something big. Did you have any idea in
I
middle
did.
school?
In middle school, no, but I knew there was something because I was always the one at family reunions and stuff, making my cousins sing and do shows, and we're gonna do this. We're gonna go out there. We're gonna sit them down, and we're gonna do this.
Mhm.
This is what we're gonna
Mhm.
do. But in middle school, at the age of sixth grade, yeah, I was 12. I moved to Saudi Arabia. I moved
Wow.
overseas.
Oh,
Yeah.
because you were a military. You were part of military.
Well, my dad was out of the military at that time, so he got a contract to work for the King's Aircraft. So I was able to move from a small town to overseas, which was a big shock. And so
Right.
that was my middle school years where I was the only Black. I went to school with a lot of people from London and Lebanon. So, yes. So I rode camels and climbed mountains and where most people was going to Miami and wherever, I was vacationing at the Red Sea.
Wow. So talk to us about that. Now that is extremely interesting. What was it like living in Saudi Arabia? Was it, I mean, paint that picture, give us a taste. Well, what did it taste like out there? What did it look like? What did
you,
it feel like?
you go to Kuntz and you go from a small town to a town where nobody looked like you know. um, Growing up in church, you know, Baptist at the time, I'm non-denominational now, to where you moved to a place where it was Muslim. The women had to walk behind the men. You know, they weren't respected in such a way. We lived in a village where, you know, you could go on the roof, and every Friday you can see the chopping off the heads and the hands
Of
because they
who?
were
Of what? Of what?
because, you know, if you still over there, you know, you get your hands chopped off. So basically, depending on what crime they committed, you know, you either got your head chopped off or the hands chopped off. And of course, if women disobeyed the culture or the religion, you know, they got stoned. So my mom used to scare me all the time. She said, if you act up, I'm gonna sell you to one. I'm gonna sell you to one of these guys. You know, because you can get married at an early age over there. You know, you can marry off your daughter at a young age. So she used to scare me with that. I
She was
remember,
joking, right? She obviously
yes,
was joking.
I remember Ramadan. You know, the king used to come through and or the prince used to come through and just pass out money, throw money. I mean, it was like a money city. Um, the most important thing I remember over there was a movie called Not Without My Daughter with Sally Fields, and that was actually based on something that was going on in our house, where a lady from Hollywood was married to a Muslim guy upstairs, and he used to beat her all the time. And her people were in the movie production business, you know, making Hollywood movies. So she had to escape, and my mom helped her, you know, write letters to her mom and things like that. So when she escaped, she got back to Hollywood. She told my mom there would be a movie made, and that movie was called Not Without My Daughter by Sally Fields.
Absolutely incredible. You guys are seeing this right here on America's Next Motivator. Now, what are your thoughts on women's rights?
Oh yeah, as far as
The way that they should be upheld, the way that women should be dignified, respected.
oh
Talk
yeah.
about yeah.
Well, in order to have, okay, women's rights, yes, we're equal, but in order to be respected, it starts with ourselves. If you want to be treated like the lady, you have to act like the lady. If you want to be respected and seen in a certain way, like a queen, you know, it's the way you take care of your temple. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like I said, you got to know your value and your worth. Now, when you say women's rights, what do you mean as far as the
Well,
workplace or?
well, to give it a greater context, I think that it is totally unacceptable for women to be disrespected
Oh yeah.
on a societal level. And what I mean by disrespect is either physical abuse
Oh.
or always putting the woman behind and underneath the man. I think that that's wrong.
Hmm.
That's my perspective.
Oh yeah.
If women generally feel mistreated, I also feel that that's wrong. And I think that in America, we have conversations, but we still have women right here in America who don't feel like they are respected the way that they should be respected. I think we have women here in America who don't feel that they have the proper respect in society in general, and that they're still facing an uphill battle in life. And I honor that, and so I like to have conversations around the guest perspective on certain things. I think women's rights, it continues to be a big issue. I didn't know that it's okay to treat women the way that you're saying over in Saudi Arabia,
Yeah.
but it's conjuring a lot of emotions out of me.
Yeah. Well, you know what? And it depends on how that woman was also raised too. Like, I was raised in a loving home. I have my mother and my father. So I never saw my father mistreat my mom. He always took care of my mom. I have a bigger brother who always treated me with respect and was always protective. And he taught me how to he taught me how to take no crap. So
Hmm.
I've always, my mom and they've always labeled me as fearless, because you
Hmm.
can tell me I was maybe ugly so many times. You could tell me I would never be that or get back to the line. And I always would roar like a lioness and he'd be like, I don't understand why we got to do this. Like, I was always outspoken. Like, I never felt like I didn't have any equal rights, if that makes sense, because the way
Yeah.
I was raised. And
Yeah.
I get it. There's a lot of women that grow up without fathers who or abusive parents who learn or think that's normal, so they either marry somebody or date somebody that's like that situation they grew up in, and that's normal to them. So they don't have, how do you say, they don't have the self-worth or value. And I've seen women a lot of times, you can tell them you're beautiful, and they feel uncomfortable or they feel kind of dumbed down because of what's been beaten inside of their heads, and their
Mhm.
minds. It just depends on how you see yourself. Like, I've never seen myself as a weak woman. I've always felt like there was something in me that God put in me where I was always fearless. You know
That's
what I
right.
mean?
That's right.
I want to teach women that. Like, I've always looked at myself as a queen. Even even in my book, when we get to that, God told me who I was and what I was, and I'm like, oh, that's who I am. Okay, well, let me teach these women how to be this. Da 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 da.
Right. Right.
So yeah.
If you could, I want you to speak to the women out there, the young ladies and the grown women who might need to hear a word from you in terms of their womanhood. What are some of the things that you talk about in your book? Some of them, not all the things. Some of the things you talk about in your book.
Well, the book is basically about my life in 3D, how God, how a tragedy turned my life into a triumph. And that book was written in 2010, so it's got to be a continuation, because I never thought I'd get a divorce. You know what I mean? But and I don't know if we'll talk about that, but that was a point where my life where I said, you know what, I deserve better than that. Let me walk out of this. I was able to walk out of it with no pain or anything like that. But I just like to teach women how to love themselves and see themselves as Christ sees them, period, and their value and their worth, and try to teach them or show them through their experiences and through my experiences how they can gain from that, how you can gain in your pain. Everybody has a story, and don't, like me, I'm very transparent. Be transparent. You can't get help if you don't ask. A lot of people, a lot of women sit and they sulk and they sit silent, and you can get sick from being silent. If you don't share, the trauma and the trials and the things that you've been through. Because when you open your mouth up, you shame the devil and you expose him, and you're helping other people along the way.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Do you feel that women need more safe spaces to express themselves?
Oh yeah. That's why we you put a bunch of women together, boys. Stories. The stories that come out, yes, that's a safe space. And that's why, I strive to have little conferences and little meetings. And, my mom, she's big. She have chocolate Sundays. Chocolate Sundays is an environment that she created where we eat desserts, chocolate and all that. And we cry, we laugh, we get ministered to. And some of the stories that come out will shock you. Even being a wife of an ex-NFL player, those women in the NFL, they have stories. When you talk about abuse and all that, it just goes deep. Like, I've seen it all from every perspective. So
from the moment you said you went to Saudi Arabia, my whole mind just opened up about you and the things that you were able to see there at a young age. I presume that they would impact the rest of your life. And it sounds like in some ways they did, because you're now expressing yourself in ways that can empower women, that can empower, men, families. And so I think it is very interesting. I want to make this a victorious moment for our public out there to create safe spaces for women to express themselves. Her mother does Chocolate Sunday. That's a great idea. Maybe you're out there and you don't know what your talent is specifically. You don't know what your gift is yet. But let me ask you this. Could you create a safe space for other women to come and talk and express themselves? Think about that. Because that's one thing that we're learning today from Shelby, is that women need a safe space to communicate, because, like she said, you can get sick from being silent. How many of our women are becoming sick or are currently sick because they don't have a safe space to express themselves? So be encouraged that you're important, you're worthy. Find a safe space. And if you can't find a safe space, create a safe space. We're going to be right back with more from Shelby Mcqueen. You guys sit tight. America's Next Motivator, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday at 9 p.m. Eastern. America's Next Motivator, hosted by me, Cedric Riley, and sponsored by the Pride Empowerment Network and our viewership. Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to text somebody, tag somebody, get somebody else into the building because we're having a dynamic conversation and we're not done yet. Shelby, how you feeling out there?
I'm good. This is fun.
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, drop a one if you're getting something out of this conversation. I know there are people out there who might think from time to time, well, why are you only talking about women's empowerment? And where's the part where you talk about the men's empowerment and how the men are equal to the woman and stuff like that? Let me tell you something. We've always needed to have this level of transparency and accountability, and even more today in 2021, when a woman is sharing her perspective about herself and her counterparts. Let her do that. I don't have to talk about how we're equal or well the man's perspective is this. No, let me get out the way and let's both explore how women need to be respected and upheld. So that's that. Now, you said that you were going to go into the entertainment industry, but you decided to pull back a little bit. What happened?
Oh yeah. So fast forward when I was 21, 22, going into clubs, coming from the country, learning what I learned. I could dance.
Okay.
So I started here in Dallas. I was a hip hop background dancer, and then came in contact with a gentleman by the name of Link, who was a writer for Silk and 112, and he wrote albums for Drolavert, and I can go on and on.
Mhm.
And I met the producer by the name of Daryl Delight Allenby,
Okay.
and he gave me a shot in the studio, and I was on Link's album singing background. So that's how I got the singing bug.
Mhm.
And so I used my talent and my skills, and I wrote a rap, and they were hits. And
Okay.
got to the point where they wanted to sign me, and guess what? So they gave me they made me a nice offer, but they wanted to change my age back, and they wanted me to be a little bit rougher and tougher and be a little
They
bit
wanted to change your what?
my age. They
How do
wanted
you do that?
to, at the time I was 26, so they wanted to, I think at the time Trina was out. They wanted me to. Oh, they do that. They change your name and they change your age. They can put you back or push your age back a couple of years. And I just didn't. That wasn't my thing. And I had said one cuss word on the song, and I was like, my grandmother's gonna kill me. And it was like, we need you to be a little bit more rougher. We need you to use the B word. We need you to be more,
Mhm.
because da da da. And I was
Mhm.
like, nah, that's not me. And the Lord told me, if you don't get up and walk away from this deal, and I think about it all the time. I was like, if I would have got that $1 million contract, where would I be sitting right now? But I'm glad
Mhm.
I didn't do that, because I ended up recording a gospel album after my tragedy happened. So I don't regret it, but a lot of the music is still on SoundCloud, and
Mhm.
yeah.
I think it's very interesting and sometimes tragic how an art form that comes out of a people
Mm-hmm.
can be um, corrupted.
Mm-hmm.
You know, something that you might intend to be helpful, to be joyous and harmonious, doesn't match up with the metrics of the powers that be. And when I say the metrics, I mean, if you're not cursing enough, people aren't going to buy your record.
Right.
Who wants to uphold that? If you're not dressing a certain type of way, people are not going to buy your record. Who
Mm-hmm.
wants to uphold that? And so what ends up happening is, we start becoming a type of artist that we think people want to see, as opposed to being the artist that we really are. And you look around and you won't even be capable of the craft anymore because you're too busy trying to meet a false expectation. And
Right.
so I think that's tragic.
Right. You're controlled, and the scripture that came to mind is, what profit a man to gain the world and lose his soul? And
Lose
I
your
wasn't
soul.
about to do that.
That's
No.
right. That's right. Okay, so you created gospel music after that?
Yep, I actually it was after the time, actually the tragedy to speak about is when I lost my first husband, who was killed in a car accident. And so I used the pain that I was feeling to create a gospel album. And I was actually got Tony Thompson from High Five to do the duo with me. And as we know, he passed away. And after he passed away, I just kind of put the music in a vault. I went on tour for a year after that, but I put the music in the vault because I wasn't healed all the way. You know, I was still dealing with the pain of losing my husband, and then Tony was a good friend. He passed away with so much going on at that time, and just dealing with a lot of legal matters and stuff too, where people were stealing from me. It's in the book. Millions were stolen from me because my husband was hit by a company vehicle. So I went through all of that. At the time, I was mad at God. I said, God, man, do you love me or what? Like, I was fussing. I was like, do you know I put my career on hold to follow you and you do this? Yeah, I went through it. It was a battle.
Did you have people to talk to when you were going through all those things?
Actually, no. Sitting in silence will make you sick, right? I just said
Yeah.
that. So to take it back a notch, I met my husband in '97. His name was Dave McQueen, and he was actually the first cousin and road manager to MC Hammer. And then he moved here to Texas and was Deion Sanders' right-hand man. So we wasn't married a year. So I lost him to a car accident in Prosper, Texas. And we had just had a baby. He was 3 months.
Wow. I'm sorry to hear that.
So no, I suffered in silence. I didn't tell, I've always been the stronger one. So even in my book, I talk about how I was being stolen from. It's either sink or swim, and I was just suffering in silence. I was trying to be tough, and I was asking God why, because, it was something, ladies, that I prayed for. I prayed for him, and I was like, Lord, give this man to me. I want to get married. I want to have a kid. And the exact thing that you pray for, 6 months later, is taken away from you. So, oh my gosh, that was a test of a lifetime. But what happened is I had a spiritual encounter.
Okay. Boom.
Yep.
Boom. This is huge. I was going to ask, are we supposed to suffer in silence? Because I can hear a little voice in the back of my head saying, yes, you should suffer in silence to an extent. You don't want to do that for too long because it becomes toxic and you can get sick. But you do have to experience your trials and tribulation to some degree for yourself. There's not always going to be somebody there with you, holding you up or having a hand on your shoulder when you're going through these things. And in that silence, if you listen, sometimes you can hear God's voice.
Oh yeah.
And that's what happened for you.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, go ahead, talk about it.
Oh no. Yeah, so that's why I call the book My Life in 3D, because I was so mad at God, and I was saying, as a little girl, what the world will call psychic. No, I wasn't psychic. I was prophetic, where I would hear God talk to me. He would show me things in dreams, even at the age of 4, and I believe that's why I'm so fearless, because even in Saudi Arabia, I was the only child, so he was like my superhero. I used to see this picture. I was like, Mommy, who's that guy on that picture? That's my hero. So I used to talk to him, and Mom would say, why are you talking to yourself? No, I'm talking to the Lord. He's saying this and this. She said, girl, no. Yes, he's talking to me. Anyway. But so after that whole experience, and I was upset with God, the Lord showed me visions of heaven for 30 days. As I would go to sleep, he says, I'm going to show you why. I'm going to show you when. I'm going to show you where he is. I'm going to show you about transition. I'm going to show you about death. And I'm going to show you your purpose and your destiny. So he did that for me. And I would have different encounters where, people were partying in heaven, and I would see my husband that passed away. He said, God has a sense of humor. He would tell me different stories. I said, what? Yeah, he has a sense of humor. And he would tell me, he said, there's a party going on, but you can't stay. And I'm like, why can't I stay? He said, because it's not your time. And he said, someone just died. I said, who just died? He says, oh, I don't know. He said, because when they make it here, they get a new name. So he said, we don't know the name yet. So I said, okay. So, and then I would feel myself falling asleep. And when I wake up, I was like, okay, wait a minute. What was that? Was that real or not? I will fall asleep again. God would show me about transition. It's just deep.
This is very deep.
And then the purpose, and then when God, all I could see was a bright light. And he told me what my purpose and my plan was for my life. And he told me my Boaz was coming. And he said, I'm going to be with you always. And a lot of things that he told me in heaven has come to pass so far. A lot of it has come to pass, and we're still going. And I've never looked at life the same after that experience, that 30-day experience. I mean, it gets deep, like, angels and things like that. And I'm like, wow, this is only temporary. Earth, this is just temporary. And I learned that my father was a king, and that makes me a queen. I'm a queen. I'm an heir to the throne. So I'm like, you know what? This earth is going to pass away, but that up there, that's for real. They have some stuff going on. So that's how I move, I'm
That's
sold
right.
out. I'm
That's
no
right.
longer available to the world. God came through and paid a hefty price for me. So cancel my subscription. The world has too many issues. So that's why I sit and I'm like, wow. If they could only experience what I experienced up there. I saw streets paved with gold. I saw flowers that was singing, and grass that sounds like
Wow.
harmonicas. But I mean, it was just beautiful choir. I'm like, this is crazy, And then for a long time, I didn't tell people what I saw, but I wrote it in the book, and I'm at the point now where I don't care. Like, miracle signs and wonders do exist.
Right.
And
That's right. That's
yeah.
right. The dream realm is it's a place. It's a place where we experience intervention. And so I want to encourage everybody out there to be a dreamer. Even tonight, have a dream. And when I say have a dream, I mean do it on purpose. You can, sometimes you can be given a dream because you're going through something, a dream that's so powerful, so beautiful that it heals you. You're healing in your sleep. And when you wake up, obviously your life didn't change that much. But when you go to sleep again, you can go back to that place. All you got to do is focus. You can go back to that beautiful place. You can go back to that magnanimous place where the world was trying to say something to you. And what happens is that you begin to remember what's going on in that dream. And guess what? Now you got something. You got a book. You got a movie. You have a way of life. You have a new belief system. And now that's what it's for you to do, is to bring that dream to life. When you get a dream, bring that dream to life. That's how we create new markets. That's how all of the inventions were invented. Somebody had a dream. Martin Luther King had a dream. We've got to embrace our dreams. Dreams are a gateway to vision. Vision is a gateway to creating a future. So many of our traumatic experiences, they leave us feeling like, wow, where's my future? Where's the future in this? Where's the hope? Where's the light? You have light. God gave you light. Everybody out there, be reminded tonight. God gave you light. You've got to cooperate with that light. Get to know it. Listen to it. Look for it. Appreciate it. Embrace it. How'd that gospel song say? This little light of mine, right?
Yeah.
We've got to make this a fundamental understanding about life. One of the reasons why church is such a big deal is because church is encouraging you to shine your light, to embrace your light, to understand that you have a light inside. You're never built for just a bad experience, a traumatic experience, for that to be your future. No, you're always meant to break through to greatness. You're always meant to break through to your greatness, to become an heir, an heiress of the kingdom of God. Let's go. So now, what do you do these days? What work are you into these days? Are you a family woman? What's going on in your life?
Okay, so I out of the tragedy came triumph. So had I not went through what I went through, I would have never knew I had the gifts of singing, the gifts of writing albums. I'm actually starting a media company. I end up getting married, remarried, and technically got a divorce. But out of that came a show called Trophy Wives, Sports and Entertainment, which we switched to Royal Kingdom Empire. Because not only do I have trophy wives or NFL wives, sports wives wanting to share their stories, their trials and tribulations, but actors and singers as well. So that's in the works. You know, after this whole COVID thing, we're revamping that. Author. I want to. I do real estate for the Cowboys.
Right.
That's part time, and then I cut hair.
Mm-hmm.
So I call it the Royal Kingdom Empire. The Lord gave me the Royal Kingdom Empire. So it's a conglomerate of businesses built on advancing the kingdom of heaven. And under that, I have my music. So I get a lot of friends and family that want me to manage them and all this kind of stuff. So I'm at the point where I'm going to expand. I'm needing help, assistance, and I'm going to do it. So that's where we are now. So we're into fitness, we're into nutrition. I have Royal Kingdom Empire Travel. So yeah, a lot of
This
those
is
things.
phenomenal.
Yeah.
This
So
is
I just have,
phenomenal.
and it's all ministry. It's ministry based.
Mm-hmm. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get some hearts and likes in the building. Let's get some hearts and likes in the building for Shelby Mcqueen, because she's manifesting her dream today. A dream could change your life, everybody. A
Yeah.
dream can change your life. Believe in them. Believe in your dreams. Go ahead.
So a lot of people don't know too. So another thing too is when God tells you to do a thing, you got to do it. When I was married, you know, my ex-husband was given the opportunity to coach the Arizona Cardinals, right? And so being obedient and praying, got on my knees, and the Lord told me to tell him, don't take it. And the next person that he handed it to, her name was Jen Welter. And I said, the Lord said, you don't go, but send Jen Welter. So a lot of the people don't know that it was my prayers that God spoke to me to put the first woman into the NFL as a coach.
Wow. This
So
is
yeah.
this
And
is this is this is
she's gone. She didn't blew up, but yeah. So yeah, a lot of people
this
give
is the
her credit.
power. This is the power of the visionary woman.
Yeah.
This is the power of the dreaming woman. This is the power of the woman who's a medium. You are a medium from the spiritual world to the physical world. That's how I see you right now.
Oh, a lot of me. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
you're not a psychic or anything like
No.
that. But there's prophecy. There's
Yeah.
prophecy in your life and on your life,
Yeah.
and there's something very special about that. That's another thing that we need to understand. Some people are receiving messages from from God, and not only should we listen to those people, but we should also understand that we have an opportunity to receive a message from God as well.
Right.
You know, I think that's huge. Now let's talk about your show. So you're creating a show so that people can talk about their experiences as a spouse, a partner, a visionary. Talk about your show.
Well, the show was called Trophy Wives Sports and Entertainment, where I sat down with wives who can talk sports. You know, we go ham. We talk about sports. I mean, it's a woman show. We looking cute. We looking fly. We
Okay.
what are you wearing? You know, what are you wearing? Shoe cam and all that kind of stuff. So it was drawing you in from that perspective. But at the end of the day, each wife had a business venture that she wanted to share, and then she had a story. Because you see the glory, but you don't know the story. Like a lot of people would look at LeBron James. Remember when LeBron James got his jersey burned up, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then people, well, what was the story behind that? Well, if you ask the wife, it was her that was making the decision. You know, honey, let's move to LA because there's good schools. There's this. We're looking at the the family aspect of it. But when you make that decision, the fans don't like that and they think it was his decision. So I go deeper into the stories. But what happened was after COVID, I was getting a lot of other people wanting to come on my show, ministers and actors and things like that. So I had to kind of back up and rename the show to Royal Kingdom Empire Sports and Entertainment because God said he wanted his seal on everything. So it's not about me, it's about the kingdom. But people share their stories, their testimonies, and they're an inspiration. So, and then we share their business endeavors. Like here, you know,
That's right.
story. Yeah.
That's right. Where if people want to follow your movement, they want to subscribe to your businesses, your services, the things that you're doing out there, where can people find you on the internet?
Oh, all over the place. My website is called theroyalkingdomempire.com.
Okay.
And on there, it tells you about the ministry, the media, uh, the prayers, the prayer lines, who's coming up next, the guests. I have a clothing t-shirt line called House of Kingdom Couture. So the website for my online boutique is houseofkingdomcouture.com. And social media is I am Shelby Mcqueen, Instagram. I am Shelby McQueen, Twitter, uh, and Facebook, Shelby Eris McQueen.
Okay. What do you say to the young ladies out there who are trying to figure out how to become a successful adult? They might have, adversities. Maybe everything's going great, but they just don't know what to do next. What do you say to the young lady who's trying to get into college per se?
Research. Take the how out of there and learn from somebody who's done it. I always tell people, I said, and I can learn that too. I've already been where you're trying to go. Find somebody that's already been where you're trying to go and ask questions. Now, you have to research. You have to learn so you can earn. And I'm a
Okay.
researcher. So, I mean, the internet, there's no excuse. I always tell my kids, there's no excuse. If I don't know, go ask Siri. All the information is on your computer.
That's right.
But as far as that, I say the first thing to know what you want to do, whatever you're passionate about, that's your purpose. Whatever, if you're good at solving a problem, that's your purpose in life.
Mm-hmm.
Take that, Google it, how to, yada, yada. And then just go up to a school. That's what I did. Nobody taught me how to do financial aid or how to enroll in class. I just went up to the school and I talked to somebody because I'm a researcher. And if somebody inspires me, I ask questions,
That's right.
So I'm always a sponge. And you got to take action. Write the vision down, make it plain. I was told divide and conquer. You can't do everything at once. What is that one thing you want to do first? Divide and conquer.
That's right. That's
And
right.
then just take it from there.
What do you say? What do you say to the grown woman? She she wants to do more with her life. She's beautiful. She's got talents maybe the world doesn't even know about. But she's sitting on the couch tonight and she's wondering how can she elevate her life? What do you say to her?
There's a saying, you don't have to be great to get started. Just get started to be great. And
Let's
I
go.
always say, take the age out of there. A lot of people,
Mm,
I'll tell people all the time, they don't believe me. I'm 49 years old. I don't do
I don't
anything.
believe you either.
My grandmother is 93, so she's the inspiration to me. You could do anything you want to do if you set your mind to it. A lot of people say, well, I'm this. Who put that stigma on you? Take me to the person who created that
That's right.
lie to say, I'm this much old. I can't do this. No, you could do whatever you set your mind to it. And when you do it, do your best. Put 101% in it. It's never too late.
Mm-hmm.
Never too late.
What do you and we're down to the final seconds of the show, so we're moving fast, but I've had a great time speaking with you this evening. What do you say to the young man who has no idea about how to treat women? What are the top three things that he needs to know about how to treat a woman?
First of all, I've met a lot of guys that are broken. So it's a
Mm,
root to the problem. Go back and find out why you are the way that you are.
mm,
And if you don't know how to treat a woman, it starts with yourself. Like you need to go get help.
mm.
There's a root cause to everything. There's a root cause to why you are the way you are, and it has something to do with how you were treated.
That's
So
right.
go get help first. And usually a person that mistreats a woman is not happy with themselves, or they saw something in their household that they feel like they have to repeat the same pattern.
Okay. Everybody, let's go out there. Let's take action. Take note of the things that we learned today. Be appreciative that tomorrow's another chance to get it right. Now we got 20 seconds left in the show. I got 3 questions for you. My first question: what is survival to you?
Going through the fire and coming out not smelling like smoke.
Ooh, what is success to you?
Success is not money. Success is whatever makes you happy. If you woke up in the morning, you're successful. That's your first sign.
That's right. What is greatness to you?
Greatness is feeling appreciated and how you feel, just being whole. And greatness is my father.
Right.
God.
Yeah. I love the conversation that we had today. Ladies and gentlemen, get your crown emojis ready because we are letting you know that we listened to your story today. I love how you embraced your roots to become a star. You're a star, and we could see that coming straight through the computer. We're giving you your respect today while you're still alive to receive it. Ladies and gentlemen, put your crown emojis into the chat. Put your crown emojis into the chat because we're giving you a crown today while you're still alive to receive it. We're giving you a crown today. We are letting you know, letting the world know that you, Shelby Mcqueen, you are America's next motivator.
Aw, thank you. I appreciate
Absolutely.
that.
Absolutely. Thanks for stopping by today. All right.
This is fun. Thank you.
Very welcome.
Bye.
All right. Bye. Ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. Each and every episode of America's Next Motivator is going to have something here for you. All you got to do, just like you did today, is stop by and pick it up.